Hello, students. Greetings to you all. Hope you all are safe and doing good by God's grace. So, we have completed 5 units. So, what are they? Unit 1 Measurement, Unit 10 Matter Around Us, Unit 19 Plant Physiology, Unit 2 Motion, and Unit 11 Atomic Structure. In today's class, we are going into a new unit which is Unit 17 Animal Kingdom. So, in this video, we are going to see the part 1 of it. So, let's move on to the motivational quote for the week. Do not be discouraged by the distance you still have to travel. Instead, appreciate how many life miles you have already covered. Your struggles have changed you into a stronger and better person. Don't let anyone dissuade you from blooming into the person you are meant to be. So keep walking, said by Doran Sky. With this motivational quote, we'll move on to the today's class. Topics to be concentrated in this session are classification of living organism, next the basis of for classification, and next is a binomial nomenclature. Let's start the class with an activity. So here I've listed few random things, right? Here I've listed few random things. I'm going to ask you that how can we group these things? Think of how can we group these things? Yes, we can group based on their shapes, yeah, or we can classify them based on their colors, yes, or it can be classified based on their sizes. Yes, so we are just classifying which is something randomly into a groups. So what is actually a classification? Classification, putting things into groups, yes, and makes studying easier, mostly done based on the physical features, done by consideration of different characters, and done at different levels. So let's put on into a small definition. The method of arranging organisms into groups on the basis of similarities and differences is called as classification. So this would be a small definition for classification. Next. So, the first systematic approach to the classification of living organism was made by a Swedish botanist. He is also called as father of classification, and he's also started the standard system of naming organism, which is nothing but binomial nomenclature and systematic approach. So he is none other than Carolus Linnaeus. So he is what? Carolus Linnaeus. And Carolus Linnaeus introduced the method of naming the animals with two names known as binomial nomenclature. As we already know, bi means it is two, and nomial means it is name. So two names known to be binomial nomenclature. So first name is called genus, and the first letter of genus is always denoted in capital letter, and the second name is species, and it is denoted in small letter. For example, let us take man. For the genus name is always denoted in capital letter. So Homo is the genus name for man, and sapiens is a species name for man. So Homo sapiens. So Homo is genus and sapiens species. So this is the binomial nomenclature for man. And classification of living organism into two groups, which is plants and animal. It can be based on their similarities, relationships, and dissimilarities. Next, we have five kingdom classification. It can be classified based on the cell structure, mode of nutrition and body organization, reproduction, presence of motor cord, and lifestyle. And it is given by Robert Harding Whitaker. So, what are the five kingdoms of classification? Yes, so Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae, and Kingdom Animalia are the five classifications of living organisms. So these groups are formed based on the cell structure, mode of nutrition, body organization, and reproductions. So next we're going to see on the basis of a hierarchy of classifications, the organisms are separated into separate groups. The larger group is kingdom and the smaller group is the species. So it is going to be a hierarchy of classification, whereas the larger group is a kingdom and the smallest one is a species. It forms the basic unit of classification. So we'll start with the lowest, which is the smallest group from species in detail. First one, we'll move on to species. It is the lowest taxonomical category. For example, uh, let's take the Indian parakeet and the green parrot. Okay, the zoological name for both this are, for Indian parakeet it will be Pisticula upetra, and for green parrot it will be Pisticula crameri. Okay, yes. So these two are different species of birds. They belong to different species, Euphedra and Crameri, and it cannot interbreed. So this is what species. So this is the lowest taxonomic category. Next one we have genus. It is a group of closely related species which constitute the next higher category called genus. For example, the Indian wolf and the Indian jackal. Okay, for the Indian wolf, zoological name would be Canis palipus, and for Indian jackal, it would be Canis auris, are placed in the same gene known as Canis. Okay, so they are grouped under genes Canis. Next one we have family. The third hierarchy is family. A group of genera with several common characteristics form a family. For example, leopard, tiger, and cat share some common characteristics and belong to the larger cat family known as Felidae. So these all belong to the cat family known as Felidae. Next in the hierarchy we have order. Order is nothing but a number of related families having a common characteristics are placed in an order. For example, monkeys, baboons, apes, and man, although belong to different families, are placed in the same order, primates. Okay, since all these animals possess some common features, they are placed in the same order. In the next hierarchy, we have class. So class is nothing but related or similar orders together form a class. Okay, the orders of different animals like those of rabbit, rat, bats, whales, chimpanzee, and human share some common features such as presence of skin and mammary glands. Hence, they are placed in class Mammalia. In the next hierarchy, we have phylum. Phylum. Classes which are related to one another constitute a phylum. The classes of different animals like mammals, birds, reptiles, frogs, and fishes constitute phylum. Chordata, which have a notochord or backbone. Next, in the hierarchy, which is the largest and highest category, is the kingdom. It is the highest category and the largest division to which microorganisms, plants, and animals belong to. Each kingdom is fundamentally different from one another but has the same fundamental characteristics in all organisms grouped under that kingdom. So let's move on to the taxonomy of living organism are in the hierarchy of categories as follows. First, we saw which is the highest category is kingdom and the lowest category is species. So it has been categorized like kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Under kingdom, it is animals, organism able to move on their own comes under kingdom. And phylum, chordata, animals with a backbone, mammals, chordata with fur or hair and glands comes under class, primates mammals with collarbones and grasping finger comes under order, and Homites, primates with relatively flat faces and three-dimensional vision comes under family, and Homo sapiens we already saw. This is the binomial nomenclature for man. Yes. Next, for example, we have a human. We already saw the binomial nomenclature for human, which is Homo sapiens. So for humans, the kingdom would be Metazoa. The phylum would be Chordata. Since humans possess backbone, it comes under the category phylum Chordata. Next, class Mammalia. Since human has presence of skin and mammary glands, it comes under the class Mammalia. And for human, it order is primates, and for family, hominid, and for genus, it is Homo, and species, it is sapiens. Next, we're going to see about basis of classification. We can divide the animal kingdom based on the level of organization, which is arrangement of cells, body symmetry, germ layers, and nature of coelom. First, we are going to see level of organization. So, animals are grouped as unicellular animals and multicellular animals based on their cell, tissues, organ systems. Next, we have the classification. We have symmetry. Symmetry is nothing but it is a plane of arrangement of body parts. It is of two types. One is the radial symmetry and another one is bilateral symmetry. In radial symmetry, the body parts are arranged around the central axis, whereas for bilateral symmetry, the body parts are arranged along the central axis. And under radial symmetry, animals can be cut through the central axis in any direction, whereas under bilateral symmetry, animal can be cut through the central axis in one direction. Under radial symmetry, body can be divided into many similar halves, whereas for bilateral symmetry, body can be divided into two identical halves only. For example of radial symmetry, it would be hydra, jellyfish, and starfish. In this figure, I put a starfish where it can be cut through the central axis in any direction and it can be divided into many similar halves. Whereas for bilateral symmetry, the best example would be the frog. So when you cut the frog, it is cut through the central axis only in one direction and the body can be divided only into two identical halves. Next, we have the germ layers. Germ layers is nothing but it is formed during the development of an embryo. Different organs are developed from these layers as the organism grows. An organism with two germ layers, the ectoderm and the endoderm, are called diploblastic animals. So ecto means outside, endo means inside, and derma means skin. So the animals which have two layer, which is outside skin and inside skin, comes under diploblastic animal. The best example would be hydra. Then with three germ layers, that is ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm, are called triploblastic animals. For example, it would be rabbit. Meso is nothing but it is a middle. So the animal which have three layers, which is ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, nothing but outside skin, middle skin, and inside skin. Then it is termed to be triploblastic animals. So here I've given you animal based on the nature of germ or germinal layer. So first figure it shows the diploblastic animal since it has only two layers. One is the ectoderm and the endoderm. And for the triploblastic animal, it has three layers. The outer one is the ectoderm, the middle one is the mesoderm, and the inside one is the endoderm. Next, we are going to see about coelom. Coelom is nothing but it is a fluid-filled body cavity. It separates the digestive tract from the body wall. A true body cavity or coelom is one that is located within the mesodermal layer. Based on the nature of coelom, animals are divided into three groups. First one is a coelomate. Second one is pseudocoelomate. Third one is coelomate or eucocoelomate. Under acoelomate is nothing but animals with no body cavity. For example, a tapeworm comes under acoelomate. Under pseudocoelomate, animals with false body cavity. For example, roundworms. Roundworms are the best example for pseudocoelomate. Under eucoelomate, animals with true body cavity is known to be eucoelomate. Example, earthworms or frogs. So this would be for acoelomate, it is flatworms. For acoelomate, it has ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm, and the digestive cavity is at the center. The second picture is eucoelomate, which is the best example would be annelids, mollusks, arthropods, chordatas, so on. And the third picture is pseudocoelomate. The best example would be the roundworms. It also has the digestive system and pseudocoelom also. And that's it. So in today's class, we have already learned classification of living things. So what is the classification? Classification is nothing but ordering of organism into groups on the basis of their similarities, dissimilarities, and relationships. And we saw who was the father of classification. We already know it is Carolus Linnaeus. And we saw binomial nomenclature. So what is binomial nomenclature? The method of naming the animals with two names known as binomial nomenclature. And we saw five kingdom classification by Whitaker. What are the five kingdoms of classification? It is Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae, and Kingdom Animalia. And we saw about hierarchy of classification from kingdom to species. So what are the hierarchy? Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Whereas kingdom is the largest and highest category, and species is the lowest category. Then we saw basis of classification, and we can divide the animal kingdom based on the level of organization, body symmetry, germ layers, and nature of coelom. Under level of organization, we saw that animals can be grouped as unicellular or multicellular based on cell, tissue, organ, and organ system. Under symmetry, we saw two types of symmetry. One is the radial and bilateral symmetry. Under radial symmetry, if the body parts are arranged around the central axis, then it would be the radial symmetry. Whereas for bilateral, it is along the radial axis. Okay. Next one, we saw germinal layer, which under that we saw diploblastic animals and triploblastic animals. Diploblastic is nothing but organism with two germ layers is known to be diploblastic, whereas organism with three germ layers known to be triploblastic. And we saw the nature of coelom. There are three types, which is acoelomate, pseudocoelomate, and ecocoelomate. So that's it for today's class. And we saw the structure, right? The diploblastic and triploblastic. And it's activity time, which is the follow-up work, show off your ability. So fill in the blanks with correct answers and complete the classification. So first activity, which is fill in this five kingdom names in order. So we saw five kingdom classification. Fill this blanks. This is the first activity. And second activity, you have the hierarchy of classification. We saw 7 hierarchies starting from kingdom to species, where kingdom is the largest category and species the smallest category. So find those 7 hierarchy of classification. Next, the third one is binomial nomenclature. Scientific name of organism has 2 names. They are, first name is what, second name is what. So it is somewhat like quiz question. So this is the third activity, and the last and final activity would be, we saw 3 layers in triploblastic animals. So what are the 3 layers? So finish this 4 questions, take a picture of it and upload it in Google Classroom. Thank you so much, students. Stay home, stay safe. God bless you.